Why can two accounts with about the same size following earn drastically different ad revenue on Twitter or X, and how can you maximize your own earnings? As an ex-social media and digital marketing manager that's ran campaigns for various brands, I'm going to help you understand exactly how ad revenue sharing works, how to make the most of it, and also how to keep optimizing your content in the long run. Now, if you're not familiar with Twitter's ad revenue sharing program, what the requirements are, how to get inside of it, etc., etc., I previously made a video on that subject that you'll be able to watch right here. But now that you've met those requirements and actually joined the program, you maybe got your first check, maybe it's your second month getting a check from that program, and you're wondering why some people with the same size following are earning way more than you are. Well, the first thing being is obviously you've been a reply guy in order to get all these impressions, meaning you replied to bigger accounts, you've got the impressions that got you monetized. But where the money's really made is actually in the replies to your own tweets. Meaning you actually have to make your own content because you're getting paid for the ads that are served under your tweets or in your replies. Now, I know it's easy to do like a bunch of people on TikTok and just find an Instagram reel or a YouTube short and repost the content in order to get like a crazy amount of views like it's doing on other platforms. Technically, yes, but if you don't want to get kicked out of the program, no. And that's because Twitter guidelines expressively says you must not monetize content you do not have the rights to monetize. If you share third-party content such as background audio in a video you post to your subscribers, you must have the appropriate legal rights to do so, or you might just get kicked out of the program. Now, you might be thinking, well, being a reply guy was easy. It was basically like free impressions, replying to bigger accounts, but I don't have the time to make my own content. Well, actually, I don't, so sorry about that. Anyways, I was just saying, if you think you don't have the time to make your own content, instead of doom scrolling while you're in your personal Game of Thrones time or on your daily public transportation commute, just use that time to think of and maybe start curating some well thought out content. Because you don't necessarily have to post a tweet when you think of it, and you don't have to put it in your notes. There is a function on Twitter that when you click on post and then click on drafts and then you go to scheduled, will let you actually schedule tweets for a further time during the day or the week. And this tool can actually help you post at the best times for the region you're targeting, where let's say you thought of a tweet at 2 a.m. on a Saturday bender, but you don't want to post it now because you know no one will read it. Just schedule it for later. Obviously, you still have to keep being a reply guy just because you need to bring more people, more new people to see your content, click on your tweets, and actually get shown those ads to make more revenue. But now that we've covered the basics, let's jump into the interesting part, the part where I'm going to tell you how you can make twice, maybe 3, maybe even 4 times the amount that you're currently making on Twitter without necessarily changing up a whole bunch of things. I'm about to give you a lot of juicy information that I've learned through my professional work in a marketing agency and throughout my years of college. So if there's one free thing that you could do that I would really appreciate, is if you just scroll down a little bit and hit that like button. Now, obviously, you know that if you get a bunch more of impressions, you'll get a bunch more of revenue. That's just how this program works. But I want to talk about specific actionable points that you can take in order to earn way more. As the name suggests it's an ad revenue sharing program. This means that you actually make a portion of the revenue from the ads that are shown. Now, talking about advertising budgets, there are going to be 2 main numbers that you're going to have to retain: the RPM and the CPM. CPM means cost per mile, or 1,000 in French, and this is the price that advertisers are going to pay to show their ad to 1,000 people, get 1,000 impressions on that ad. Then there is the RPM, or revenue per mile. That is going to be your cut. For instance, here on YouTube, out of the 100% CPM, content creators get around 45% RPM, which means that for this video, for every 1,000 impressions, I will get 45% of what advertisers pay to show their ads to you. So if they're paying $10 per 1,000 impressions, I will get $4.5 per 1,000 views. I was able to find this during editing, but the RPM and CPM split on Twitter is absolutely crazy nowadays, so it's the best time to actually create content on Twitter. And that number is going to be that currently 97% of the CPM is going to be your RPM, meaning that you're going to make 97% of the cost of those ads. Now, obviously, this isn't sustainable for Twitter as a company, so it'll go down in the future. That's why now is the time. Not all ads are created equal, and not all ads exactly cost the same. Even after hours of research to make this video, I could not find a keyword tool calculator for the ad cost on Twitter. This is not actually going to stop us in our quest of making more, because we do know that across all social media platforms, some subjects do cost more to advertise on than others. Those subjects in the previous video, I called them niches, and that's exactly what they are. Different niches covering different subjects that cost a different amount to promote. Now, what this means is that advertisers are going to pay way more in order to place finance ads than they are going to place gaming or beauty ads. So let's take a look at the top 10 niches that get paid the best, and if you should maybe consider transitioning to one of those niches in order to get more revenue. This one specifically is on YouTube niches, but as I said, this tends to be cross-platform. As you can see, CPM, cost per mile, meaning what advertisers are paying, and obviously this depends also on the creator, the size of the creator, and the kind of content they're making. So making the money online has a CPM of around $14, so you could assume you'd get around $7 per 1,000 impressions on YouTube. Now, this is obviously not perfectly accurate. I've seen creators get $60 to $100 per 1,000 views on YouTube, so this is basically an estimation. We can't really break it down to each case because each account is different. The second niche is going to be digital marketing with around $13. Then we've got personal finance, which is the one I'm in around $12. Education around $10. Tech, cars, and gadget around $7 to $8. And now we start to see a very clear drop off. Lifestyle is only going to be around $3.50. Fashion is going to be around $3, cooking $2.50, fitness $1.60, and finally at the bottom we've got video games. The reason for this is that ad costs work on an auction basis, meaning every single advertiser in one niche is actually competing against one another to get their ads placed more often than another one. And so personal finance, for instance, we've got financial institutions actually bidding against each other. They have way more money to spend on ads in order to get a lead or a client, which keeps pushing the price up, and this means that creators in that niche actually get paid more. Now that you've understood the niche, let's talk about some other key numbers and things that you might want to take into consideration in order to grow your revenue even further. Another metric that comes into the auction price of an ad is going to be none other than the country. If your audience is primarily from the United States, ads will cost more to run, so you'll get more money. If your audience is from another country, let's say India, where advertisers spend less money and so the auction price is lower, you'll earn less because obviously there's less money being spent. Currently, and the way it's been for the last couple of years, the place with the most expensive ads are the United States, Canada, and Europe. Meaning if your audience comes from one of these three places, you are already set up to earn the maximum you can. If your audience is not in one of those countries, you might consider making a shift of language or targeting different products in order to get some people from that country in your audience. Another one that actually matters very much is going to be the age of your audience. If it's only people under the years of 18 years old, they don't necessarily have a lot of buying power, and so obviously brands don't necessarily target them. Unless it's kids, because believe it or not, brands target a lot of kids on different social media platforms because they know that the kids will go up to their parents and be like, Mama, buy me this toy. And it's crazy, but it usually works. But the best age range that you want your audience to be in is going to be between 25 to 50 years old, because that's active people with usually jobs, meaning they have income, they have money to spend on products that are shown to them, pushing the price of advertising to those people higher and higher up. Now, believe it or not, but if you're not into marketing at all, this might sound a little crazy to you. Gender actually comes into play. The same thing happens in marketing that happens in any supermarket where there's a pink tax. So my razor, my blue razor will actually be like $2, and the pink one, the female targeted razor, will be like $4. I know it's stupid, but that's the way the world is currently running. And from various studies, we know that women are willing to spend more and more often on different products, which means that in marketing, you'll usually see a 40% increase on ad spend targeting women, which means that on Facebook ads, for instance, if you're targeting men, you're going to get an average of $6 per 1,000 impressions on a specific subject. If you target women on the same specific subject, it's going to cost you $10 per 1,000 impressions. And now, obviously, that's good for creators that have a lot of women in their audiences, which is not the case on this channel because this is a sausage fest and you're just a bunch of dudes. But someday we'll all go and grab a beer together. I think that could be pretty cool. And last but not least, the key metric is the time of the year, because yeah, you get served a bunch of ads towards the end of the year, starting Q4, so starting like right now. The reason for this is that advertisers keep some budget for year's end because there's stuff like Christmas, where people usually gift presents to their friends and family, so obviously brands want a part of that action and spend way more. Smokdown, you've been telling me all about marketing and how brands spend on specific niches and specific genders and age groups and at what time of the year. Why should that matter to me? Well, because if you can place yourself in a high-paying niche targeting the correct age group, gender, and do that before the end of the year, you can legit earn 10 times more than anyone with the same follower base. To give you the real life example that pops into my head, I've got a friend making car videos on YouTube. He has around the same subscriber base as I have, except he only targets French males between the ages of 20 and 50, so that's good. But the car niche doesn't pay as much as finance, crypto, and marketing. So for 1,000 views, he'll make $2 to $3, whereas I'll make on YouTube around $6 all the way up to $30. I linked all my sources down in the description. Obviously, a lot of it comes from my own professional experience working with brands and in marketing. But if you just change a couple little things, you should be able to earn way more on Twitter. And all these things actually apply to all the other social media platforms, might they be TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, or MySpace. No, they're done, right? Yeah, it doesn't apply to MySpace. If you watched up until here, I actually have a little announcement I wanted to make. A lot of small creators actually don't realize what the real value of their audiences are, and they don't necessarily know how to exchange with brands when they get like their first couple brand deal emails. Having been in the field for a couple years, having studied these things in college, I'd someday like to open some form of agency to help out the smaller creators. Now, obviously not the normal predatory agencies that want to take like 25% of your earnings. And so to start it out, I actually want to help 3 of you guys for the duration of 1 month entirely for free, deal with all the hurdles in your social media content creation. And this could be helping you optimize your content a little bit, but the main part I really want to focus in is the business side, how you can earn more with this asset, with this audience that you already have. So if you'd like to be one of those 3 people, just share this video on Twitter and actually tag me and say, I'd like to be one of the 3. It was your boy Marcel, aka Smokdown. I hope you guys have a good one, and I'll catch y'all another one. Peace.